Have you ever felt like your body was speaking a language you didn't recognize anymore? Itchy skin out of nowhere, a ringing in your ears that wasn't there last year, a smell on your own skin that makes you double take? If any of that sounds familiar, I promise you're not losing your mind. You might just be in perimenopause, and nobody warned you about these symptoms, because honestly, almost nobody talks about them. I'm Dr. Rita, and I spend my days helping women make sense of exactly this kind of confusion, the stuff that doesn't show up on the typical signs of menopause checklist, but is so real, so disruptive, and so common once you actually start asking around. Today I want to walk you through 7 symptoms that catch women completely off guard. None of these are things you'd expect to blame on your hormones, until you understand what's actually happening underneath. Let's start with something so small it seems almost silly to mention: itchy ears. Estrogen keeps your tissues plump, hydrated, and comfortable, and that includes the delicate skin lining your inner ear. When estrogen starts to decline, that tissue dries out, and you get this maddening itch deep inside your ear that no cotton swab can ever quite reach. It's not an infection, it's not dirt, it's dryness, plain and simple, and it's your hormones changing the moisture balance all over your body, ears included. Second, ringing in the ears, or what doctors call tinnitus. Now, I want to be careful here because ringing in the ears has a long list of possible causes. Nutrient deficiencies, viral infections, and other medical issues can all be behind it, so please don't skip getting checked out. But once those other causes are ruled out, tinnitus can absolutely be tied to the hormonal shifts of perimenopause. Estrogen influences blood flow and nerve function throughout the body, including in the inner ear. So when hormone levels start fluctuating, that ringing can show up seemingly out of nowhere. Third, and this one surprises almost everyone, changes in body odor. Think back to puberty for a second. Remember how your smell just changed? This is the same story just decades later and running in reverse. As estrogen declines, it reshapes the microbiome, the community of bacteria living on your skin, in your mouth, in your gut, and yes, in your vagina. Shift that bacterial balance, and you shift the odor that comes with it. You might find yourself reaching for a new deodorant, noticing a different scent from your skin, or even experiencing new vaginal odor. It's not something you're doing wrong. It's estrogen quietly stepping back from a job it's done your whole reproductive life, keeping those microbiomes stable. Fourth, migraines. This one can be genuinely alarming, especially if you've never had a headache problem in your life, and suddenly you're waking up with a pounding skull that eases only as the day goes on. Both declining estrogen and declining progesterone can trigger this. Interestingly, some women even develop migraines as a side effect of hormone replacement therapy, because progesterone supplementation can affect certain people that way. And for some women, the pattern is cyclical. Migraines show up specifically in the luteal phase, right around their period, and vanish the rest of the month. If migraines are new to you in your 40s, or you've noticed a pattern lining up with your cycle, your hormones deserve a closer look. Fifth, burning mouth and burning gums. This is one of the symptoms women almost never connect to perimenopause, because who thinks to blame their mouth on their hormones? But that same microbiome shift affects your oral cavity too. It can reduce saliva production, irritate the nerves lining your mouth, and change your overall oral health in ways that genuinely surprise people. Some women develop new cavities or persistent dental issues during this stage of life, not from anything they're doing differently, but because declining estrogen is quietly reducing saliva and disrupting the nerve signals and bacteria that keep your mouth balanced. Sixth, joint pain. This tends to be one of the earlier symptoms women notice, and it's often described the same way: waking up stiff, achy, almost like the pain lives in the bones themselves. Estrogen plays a massive role in bone turnover and overall bone health, so as estrogen starts to fluctuate during the different stages of perimenopause, joint pain frequently follows. If you want to go deeper into exactly which stage you might be in and what's driving these changes, I've got a whole video breaking down the stages of perimenopause. Well worth a watch if this is resonating with you. Seventh, heart palpitations. If you remember Oprah talking publicly about her perimenopause journey, this was actually one of the very first symptoms she described, this fluttery, racing sensation in her chest, even while she was just sitting still, resting, doing nothing that should have sped her heart up. Palpitations are deeply tied to both estrogen and progesterone in particular, because your heart actually has receptors for it. Progesterone helps keep your heart calm and steady, so as it declines during perimenopause, you can start noticing that uneasy racing or fluttering feeling. I do want to say clearly, if you're over 40 and experiencing new palpitations, please see a doctor to rule out any arrhythmia. But once other causes are excluded, hormone fluctuation is a very real and very common explanation. And finally, I want to mention one more thing, not quite as unusual as the others, but something so many women describe with real frustration: changes in weight and metabolism. You're doing everything right. Same exercise, same nutrition, same discipline that used to work, and suddenly the scale won't budge, or your body composition just feels different no matter what you try. This isn't in your head, and it isn't a failure of willpower. It comes down to insulin resistance and cortisol, both of which are deeply intertwined with your sex hormones. As estrogen and progesterone shift, so does the way your body handles blood sugar and stress hormones, and that combination can make weight management feel like an uphill battle even when you're following the same playbook that used to work perfectly. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Perimenopause doesn't always look like hot flashes and skipped periods. Sometimes it looks like an itchy ear, a weird smell you can't explain, a migraine that came out of nowhere, a racing heart while you're just sitting on the couch. Your body is going through a real biological transition, and these strange, seemingly unrelated symptoms are often all connected by the same thread: your changing hormones. If this video helped even one thing click into place for you, please hit like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what other perimenopause or women's health topics you'd love me to cover next. I genuinely love hearing your stories and questions. They shape exactly what I make next, and I want these videos to feel like they're truly made for you.